Boa vs. Python is a 2004 creature feature directed by David Flores. When a giant python escapes captivity and goes on the rampage, a scientist releases a genetically modified giant boa constrictor to hunt down and stop the ravenous reptile before it kills again. But before we get into this serpentine smackdown, I just want to ask that if you end up enjoying this video, then please consider dropping a like and maybe even subscribe, as it would really help my channel grow. So thanks. Also, there will be full spoilers ahead, but if that doesn't bother you, then grab your pickled cucumber flavoured popcorn and whip out a pack of gummy snakes as we dive into Boa vs. Python. So the movie begins with some seriously disorientating editing before we see these lot loading something onto the back of a truck, which is either a giant snake in a box or it's not. And at the same time this is going on, we also see a wrestling match is about to begin.
And now, the match you have all been waiting for.
It's about damn time. I've been waiting for 30 seconds over here. Turns out the match is Boa vs. Python. Yay! But don't get too excited, because that's just the name of the two wrestlers. Aww. We also meet the villain of the movie, Von Cruz, and his girlfriend, Schlapper, because Von Cruz likes to schlapper that ass. Then this waitress rocks up and is like, "Here's your glass of yellow, sir." Damn it, I asked for a glass of blue, with a slice of yellow. Oh, I'm so sorry, shall I take it back? No, I'll drink it. Reluctantly. Then he gets a phone call. Hello?
It's Ramon.
Who?
It's Ramon.
Which Ramon's that again?
It's Ramon.
Oh, that Ramon. How you doing, Ramon?
It's Ramon.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Ramon. I hope your guinea pig recovers from the scuba diving accident quickly. Anyway, how's the delivery of my giant python going?
It's Ramon.
Excellent. I look forward to seeing it soon. Bye!
Stupid cunt.
Oh, there's no need for that! He may be a cunt, but he's not stupid. So they watch the fight play out while inside the truck this fella is busy dreaming about celery with wheels, when suddenly he's woken up by a blinking light on the snake box and says,
We have a problem back here. It's awake.
It's Ramon.
So they pull over and Ramon whips out this stupid looking gun to trank the snake. But of course, as soon as it's opened, the snake's tail starts whacking everyone off their feet. So they all start shooting at it and their careless gunfire accidentally opens the box fully. And the giant python begins killing them all off screen, because it's going to be one of them bloody movies, isn't it? Back to the fight and Python the wrestler is getting his ass kicked.
Boy, these are $500 seats. We're the ones who pay for the view here.
Oh, I think you overpaid, mate, by about $490. The snake containment isn't going well either, so Ramon pulls out an explosive and sets it for 30 seconds.
What are you doing? It's Ramon.
What do you mean you're going to blow us all up?
It's Ramon.
And it looks like Boa has won the wrestling match too, much to the delight of Von Cruz, who then hops on board his Von Cruz plane, which is somewhat lacking subtlety. On board he lights up his 10th cigar of the day, while Schlapper has a bath. On a plane. Maybe I'm wrong, but having a bath on a plane seems like a very foolish idea. No, I think you're right, Ken. Although I would be curious to see what would happen if they had severe turbulence. Then Von Cruz gets a call from Dennis Nedry, who tells him what's happened to the truck and the transport crew. Oh great, now what are we going to hunt this weekend? Hey Dennis, I don't suppose you could sneak a T-Rex out of Jurassic Park for us, could you? Sorry buddy, but I'm stealing embryos for Dodgson this weekend.
Fat fuck!
Do you want me to call the boys and tell them the hunt is off?
No.
When the crash occurred specifically.
Just tell them.
I am topless. Meanwhile, at the truck, this government agent turns up to see what's going on. I'm going to call him Special Agent Plateau, or maybe just Splatto for short. Then he's accosted by this news reporter who says,
So is the government officially deeming this an accident?
"Go away!" Okay, but just one more question. How would you describe knives?
Sharp. Now, if you don't mind.
So he goes to inspect the trailer and finds this large scale inside. Then his colleague says,
What do you think of this?
"Well, it looks pretty dead to me." "No, not that. This small pink thistle. Isn't it pretty?" "Ha! Why, yes, I believe you're right." "Well, you know what? I think that's case closed. Or at least it would be if they didn't find this broken hatch with blood on it going down into some tunnels. Which ends up leading to this water treatment plant, where this guy says,
What is that?
"Marco, that's the ceiling. It was also the ceiling yesterday. And the day before that." But then something grabs one of them and starts dragging him off screen.
Carl! 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 Carl!
And then poor Marco gets got too. Back to the truck and this deputy says, "Hey, you lot dare me to dive face first into that corpse over there, 'cause I'll do it!" Oh no! Deputy? What are you doing, man? Sorry, Chief. Right, well I want guards at every tunnel exit in a 5-mile radius. And can somebody please explain to me why there's a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit on this wide stretch of road in the middle of nowhere? It's irritating the shit out of me. Elsewhere, and we finally meet one of our protagonists. I'm going to call her Barbie Q, because she is...
Spoken!
and she's having a bet with these lads that she can hold her breath underwater for longer than they can.
Tyler here's half fish.
Aye, me mother was a marlin.
Bet I can take him.
I don't think so. Tyler was in Navy SEAL school.
Oh yeah? Well, so was I! And those Navy SEALs were just so cute! So the two of them jump into the water and stare each other down, and it looks like they're evenly matched. But then Barbie Q starts to undo her bikini top, which makes Tyler Bourbon involuntarily start chugging water, swiftly leading to his defeat. Lucky for her, this 30-something-year-old fella had never seen boobs before. Otherwise that plan would have never worked. Then she decides to eat her winnings before...
Agent Sharp wants to see you. There is a car waiting for you outside to take you to the airport.
Sorry, can you say that again, but slower and with less mumbling? So Barbie Q takes a ride with Splatto, and we find out she works with dolphins and has made some sort of new tracking technology which Splatto wants to use to find the giant python. She agrees, but they're going to need something to attach it to. So they arrive at this snake reserve and speak to Dr. Snake, who is a snake doctor, if you can believe it.
He's probably got the whole crazy, bug-eyed, mad scientist thing going on.
And I bet he looks like that guy who was in Cube, Stargate Atlantis, and played the angry neighbour in Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Ha! I knew it! So they go inside his snake lab and Barbie Q has a gander at his snakes and says,
Doesn't it bother you in the least working with these things? I mean, one bite in your history.
Well, actually, only about a quarter of all snake species are venomous. And out of those, only a third are able to cause serious harm or death to humans. Splatto says they've come to see the giant boa constrictor he's raised in captivity. So Dr. Snake opens this big door and says,
Follow me.
Nah, I thought I'd just wander around on me own, eh? So they enter its enclosure and he says,
Betty is probably the largest scarlet boa on the planet.
Probably the largest? Probably? So Splatto says,
I'd like to use your boa to help me find this.
No need for that, mate. It's already there in your hand.
You son of a bitch.
Back to Von Cruz, who is waiting on his hunting buddies turning up, with the first to arrive being the one, the only, Greg M, followed by Billy Badass. 'Cause I'm a badass! Fanta and his son Tango, and lastly we have the least greatest hunter the world has ever known, Bollock. And collectively they are known as Team Expender Bellend. So they all hop on Von Cruz's plane and he goes over their hunting plan in depth. So we find the snake and shoot it till it's dead. Any questions? Yeah, why do you have a massive solid marble table on your plane? Back to the goodies who are going over their plan too, which involves surgically attaching the tracking equipment to the snake's brain, and also includes a kill switch, should things go tits up. But they better hurry up as the python has broken out of the tunnels and is looking for another meal. Then we see this young couple making out in a car, with the fella saying,
Relax, let Lester take over.
You named your dick Lester?
Well, Lester's its surname, first name, Mo. Then while he's going downtown, he's pulled out of the car by the giant python. And then if you can believe it, the snake takes over, and she somehow doesn't immediately realise that she's being, eaten by a snake.
Filthy, but genuinely arousing.
Thankfully, this atrocity doesn't last for long, and the snake makes a proper meal out of her. Back to the others, and Splatto turns up saying they've had reports of more people going missing, so they need to hurry up and get that giant boa ready ASAP.
We can't move her, she's still recovering. But she hasn't got used to the equipment yet.
Look, I'm running short on options and
Patience!
Patience! Man, I hate it when I run short on options and patience! So while the hunters are getting locked, cocked and ready to rock, the goodies prepare to release the boa, and Splatto's colleague says,
Trucking company finally gave us a name on those vehicles we found. Brodick.
The name's Brodick. Brodick. Anyway, off goes the boa into the tunnels, with Barbie Q and Dr. Snake watching from its POV courtesy of her fancy equipment. Back to the hunters, and I'm getting major Anaconda 3 vibes from this lot, even though this movie came out first. And can somebody please explain why Fanta has brought a single-shot musket thing to hunt this snake? If he misses, which he probably will, he'll be more screwed than a recently screwed screw. And if that's not bad enough, Billy Badass, being a Billy Bellend, has only brought one bloody bullet with him.
never needed more.
You seriously think you're going to take down this giant python with one shot?
Good luck.
Well, for God's sake, even Von Cruz has brought a bolt-action rifle with him. Honestly, these lot make Team Gimp from Anaconda 3 look like professionals. And only adding to their stupidity, Billy Badass decides to run off on his own to lure out the snake, which seems to make Greg M think that he's in Beverly Hills Cop all of a sudden.
Holy! Foley, come back!
But oh no! The python has snuck up on him, and instead of just shooting it, he decides to stand there doing an impression of a middle-aged man screaming. When Von Cruz and the others show up, they only find Billy Badass with Greg M's rifle.
I have two very simple rules here on this hunt. Number 1.
I must be smoking a cigar at all times.
Number 2.
Get really close to my face when I ask you to. What? Now do it. No! Do it. No, I don't want to. Do it or I won't invite you around to play Mario Kart 64 ever again. You wouldn't. Try me. Attaboy. But then they hear somebody shooting, and it appears Fanta and Tango have spotted the snake. So Fanta says,
Oh man, I've been waiting 15 years to use this! Fire in the hole!
And then proceeds to throw a grenade about 2 foot in front of them because who needs legs, am I right? Unfortunately, both of them survive, and Bollock the hunter tracks the snake to a tunnel entrance. So it looks like their hunt will have to continue underground. But after they have a lunch break, because you can't hunt a giant python on an empty stomach now, can you? Back to the others, where Barbie Q has lost the video feed from the boa, so she employs a very sophisticated method of fixing the problem.
Violence and technology, not good bedfellows.
And while she's trying to fix it, their security detail wanders off because they're idiots. And then, for reasons I simply cannot comprehend, the soldiers start shooting at the snake they're supposed to be following to the other snake! What? After their lunch, the hunters prepare for the next stage of their hunt, and now Von Cruz has a flamethrower! Yes! So they descend into the tunnels and split up into 2 teams, with Fanta saying,
Stand back, boy, I'm in charge.
And in pain! Oh! Back to the others, and Barbie Q asks Plateau,
You alright?
Yeah, just a little pissed.
Drunk on the job. Disgraceful. Then she checks the feed and it looks like the snakes have found each other, and are getting on a lot better than expected. Then Dr. Snake comes up with the idea of sealing off all the exits to their location bar 1, then flooding the tunnels, forcing them outside where they can be tranquilized. So they radio the gang up top to open the water valves and start making their way out. But when Splato walks around this corner... Oh my god! Quick! Before you die! How would you describe the quality of this video?
Outstanding.
You heard him, folks! Like and subscribe, you buggers! Anyway, Billy Badass is like,
Whoops.
What the hell did you do that for? Well, sorry, he looked like an 80-foot snake to me. Oh, and speaking of which, I believe it's grabbed me by the legs. Bleh. Then the python tail whips Fanta into a fence, where he's apparently killed by this spike sticking out of it. Well, it's better than another off-screen kill, I guess. But then the tunnel begins to flood, so our heroes leg it, leaving Tango to be killed by it off-screen. Ugh! Meanwhile, Von Cruz and the gang find the snake's nest of eggs, one of which Schlapper foolishly picks up.
She came here to nest.
Yeah, well, there's only one problem.
I've dropped my cigar. But then the boa shows up behind Schlapper, who drops the egg and gets wrapped up by the slithery scoundrel. Von Cruz tries to singe it into letting her go, but instead it crushes her to death, and then bites Bollock in half! Why, oh why didn't I call him Jeff? Damn it! Elsewhere, Dr. Snake and Barbie Q are forced to jump into the water to avoid the python, with Splato's corpse floating past like, ah yeah, I'm dead, eh? Then because Dr. Snake looks like he's passing a kidney stone, Barbie Q shares her air with him so they don't drown, even though the majority of it clearly goes to waste, but whatever. Then when the coast is clear, they get out of the water and hightail it out of there, but end up running into Von Cruz, who is really pissed off because he no longer has a cigar on him. Oh, and because his girlfriend's dead too, I guess. But as he starts to get rowdy with them, who should show up but good old Agent ADR?
You're under arrest for poaching and illegal animal importing. Take him away.
Back up top, and our heroes tell Splato's second-in-command that he's dead.
We know. We found his body in the reservoir.
It was hilarious. Von Cruz then tells everyone about the nest of eggs they found, and Dr. Snake realises that his boa must have been pregnant before it bumped coils with the python. Man, for a giant snake, she sure does get around, doesn't she? So they bring up the video feed and see the python eating the eggs because it's a proper shit. But while they're distracted, Von Cruz somehow manages to steal an APC and rolls on out of there like,
I'm taking this thing to Mexico.
Then the goodies hear something odd, and are like,
What is that?
Sounds like machinery.
It's music.
I thought you secured a 5-mile perimeter.
Whoopsie daisy!
Yep, it turns out there's a rave nearby which they somehow missed. And this has got to be the shittest looking rave since House of the Dead. And it's about to get a whole lot worse, as the python turns up behind DJ Spatial Awareness, who just thinks the crowd is digging his fat tunes. And our heroes show up just in time to see him get munched. Oh shit! So everyone panics and vacates the venue, but before Dr. Snake can trank the python, Von Cruz rocks up with his flamethrower saying,
Die, you slithering piece of shit!
And as he lets rip, we can clearly see he has a cigar in his mouth. Then in the very next shot, it's gone. Continuity! Error! Then he takes the cigar straight out of the mouth of the guy stood next to him and starts setting all the soldiers on fire because he's absolutely lost the plot by this point. Dr. Snake and Barbecue run off and hide behind this gate as the python tries to get them. But then the boa comes crashing through the ceiling. But she's well mad that the python ate her eggs. And we finally get some actual boa versus python action in the last 5 minutes of the movie. Von Cruz isn't about to be upstaged by a snake fight though. So he tears off his vest and starts shooting up the joint like a madman. But then, BAM! Dr. Snake shoots him with a tranquilizer dart, which makes his cigar really leaky, before the two snakes each grab an end and rip him in two. Then it's back to the snake fight and the ruckus makes the floor collapse, and they fall through the floor into a subway station? What? Our heroes make their way down there and stand in front of a green screen as Dr. Snake reluctantly activates the kill switch on the boa, which jolts her out of the way before a subway train smashes into the python and knocks its head off in the process.
I killed her.
No, you saved her life.
By killing her? Yeah. And so the day is saved. Our heroes have a celebration hug, but then they realise the boa is gone. Ha! Turns out she didn't die after all. And sometime later and they're off to find the snake again.
We make a pretty good team, you and me.
And Betty makes 3.
Which is actually the name of the sequel, which never got made, because why the hell would they? End of movie. And there we have it, folks. Boa vs. Python is not a very good movie. In fact, it's a pretty terrible one, to be honest. Yet it still managed to entertain me for its short runtime, mostly through its sheer stupidity, making it an ideal pick to watch if you ever want to get shit-faced with your mates and fancy a good laugh. So, Boa vs. Python, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you loathe it? Let me know in the comments below while I turn this rock into a lemon. You know that's not going to work. I mean, You were saying? What's that in your other hand, then? A different rock, which is completely unrelated to this. You're an idiot. I know.